guys, welcome to Freedom's Front Porch in our very first episode with myself, Tamara Perryman, and Nicole Reffett, and Jen Baker, my very good friend.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for showing up.
Hi, guys. Hey, Patriots.
Woohoo, we're in the house. Well, thank you guys for tuning in today. We have an exciting show. We have Carol Stewart is going to be our guest today. We will be talking to her about all things, J6 related and DOJ related. She is very knowledgeable in all things in that regard. So I can't wait to talk to her, and I can't wait to just be back. I'm so excited to be back with my ladies.
No, it's really great.
Yeah, Nicole, tell us what you've been up to.
All right. Well, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Nicole Reffett. I am a participant of Freedom Corner that we held a vigil outside of the DC jail for 906 days straight. There were lots of us. There was a term coined down there called Freedom Corner. And we're bringing that a little bit to here. So this is a little bit update on what I'm doing. But I am the wife of Guy Reffett. He was in the first round of arrest for January 6th. We've been married 26 years. And I have 3 kids out of Texas, as many of you know, great state. And excited to bring this. I really appreciate America's First Warehouse for having us on. And I know it's Joe and Johnny's birthday today, so happy birthday to them. Shout out to them. Thanks a lot. Coincidentally, I think it's also National SpongeBob Day. I'm not sure. I think those may correlate, but I don't know.
It's also Flag Day and President Trump's, right? Or is that June? I don't know.
Oh, no. Trump's birthday is June 14th, which is also our Flag Day. Tune in to Miss Reffett for more.
I'm a month off. That's all right.
Yeah, you are a month off. But it is also a month since Mitch McConnell had a crisis at his home. And no one's heard from him since, really, except I did talk to him for a few minutes the other day. He wished us luck on our podcast. So thanks, Mitch.
Did you have a 20-minute call with him too?
No, we just messaged a bit, and he just wanted to wish us luck on our podcast.
Nice.
What a great guy.
So I think Bill, we have a picture of Nicole and Guy, don't we? Oh,
that is us at Minnehaha Falls, because we're in Minnesota right now. Guy's job has us traveling all over the United States. It's been really, really great. So we are in Minnesota right now. Minnesota, as you know, Gold Bears. So we're really, seeing what the sites have. I have to say, Guy wears that Trump hat everywhere.
right, Ro.
We locked up.
She lost
when he got off the airplane to meet me and the girls in DC after the parks came down. So he tells everybody that story. But I think Minnesota's gotten a lot of bad flack. I've seen so many pages.
Row. Nicole, you keep cutting out, doll. I don't know if she can hear us.
I'm done. I can talk more.
Okay, well, so we'll circle back. Jen, what have you been up to?
Well, first of all, this is pretty amazing. For everybody that doesn't know, maybe Nicole and Tammy and I, and along with Mickey Whithoff, have become, the bestest of friends. We care about each other. We're family, and that was them so graciously accepting me coming up to DC and being able to witness what was so amazing at Freedom Corner. It started with one person, Mickey Whithoff, being back there in the back of the DC jail. And because of her daughter Ashley wanting to, basically coming to her and in a dream and making it come into fruition, that Mickey would stand out there and fight for these men and women. And I was so drawn to it, drawn to J6 from the very beginning. And every time I would go up to DC and I would see these ladies, they would just so graciously bring me in, and then we ended up, I'd stay with them at what was dubbed as the Eagle's Nest, which that's where we get our Freedom's front porch from. The late night conversations that we would have on the front porch of this house. And in fact, Tammy's background is a picture of the kitties that were there. This one and that one. And so anyway, yeah. But for now that J6ers have been pardoned and we're basically, this is kind of like the halftime going into the fourth quarter, the stakes are high. There's so much going on. I've been real busy helping Peter Tickton with one of the lawsuits. I'm, currently a writer for the Gateway Pundit and their Pentagon press corps correspondent. So I get to go up and check out Pete Hegseth in those nice suits that he wears every once in a while. So that's fun. And one of the biggest things that I'm doing right now is with Lego Man Productions, where we are trying to get ahead of the narrative that we've heard recently with a J6 movie coming out with Sean Penn and Bradley Cooper. And they're going to do a story on Michael Fanone, like the Michael Fanone. So
basic stuff.
Hate it. It's gross. I'm putting an injunction out. Everybody should.
Yes. So he's a treasonous person. The fact that they're going to be doing a film on him, we need to jump ahead of this narrative that they're going to put out, that they're still trying to express to America that this was an insurrection. And and all the J6ers are evil, treasonous people. And so Lego Man Productions, if you guys go to legomanproductions.com, it's Lego Man with 2 G's. You can see what we're doing. But myself and Robert Morris and his beautiful new bride, Olivia Morris, we've written a script and we're looking for funding, and we're going to get that made, and hopefully we'll get that out before the midterms and all that kind of stuff. I mean, this is really imperative. So
yeah, because there's a lot that we're going to be bringing into Freedom's Front Porch that is J6 related, absolutely, because that is what we know. We've all lived it. We've advocated for these patriots and everything. So we're going to be talking a lot about that on this show coming up. It's going to be the second Tuesday of every month. Yeah. And, we're going to be talking all things faith, family, and, freedom. And, there's a lot of aspects that we had out on the corner, which was just a grassroots movement, but it was a lot of honesty. We came out, against the judges early on. Carol and Stewart is going to be talking about that, I'm sure. But we stood out on that corner. We gave our truth, and we're going to be giving our truth here. I know that over the last few years, I know that it has been very much a spiritual warfare that we've all been going through, that patriots are really coming to terms with. And we're going to be discussing that because it's very important to have our faith lead our patriotism right now. And I think that there's a lot of Jan Sixers that are talking about that. And we're going to be highlighting those things. We're going to be highlighting different stories of faith, of how people that really didn't have a lot of faith. I think a lot of us can say that we have struggled with it in our own demons. But I think here on the front porch, you're going to find a really honest, open conversation about where we think we are in our country, where maybe we can get out and make a difference happen. So I appreciate everybody coming up. We are going to be having Carol Stewart on. She represents Hatchet Speed, who has a case that was almost exactly like my husband's case that he had out of Texas. Because there was a lot of fruit of the poisonous tree charges that came down after the pardons, and Hatchet is caught up in that. And Carol's going to keep us updated on that. So all you Second Amendment people out there really need to pay attention and let your friends know what Carol's going to say on this, because she's taken it all the way to the Supreme Court, this charge, which is it's a suppressor charge. It's ultimately a weapons charge, but it's a suppressor that wasn't even couldn't even be used. It hadn't been
And it was
drummed
legal.
through.
It was legal. So Tammy, let's get Tammy real quick. What's going on with you? You've got the last minute, and then we'll go to commercial. Okay.
All right. Well, Brian and I have just been living the life of our dreams. You know, he's been working and I've been semi-working. You know, I like to have my hand in a lot of different pies. So I kind of do this over here and then I do that over here. But Brian also likes me to be home by 3 o'clock so that I can have dinner ready by 5:30. And, you know, everything can be ready and set for his evening of relaxation after work, which is great. I don't mind doing it. I actually love it. So we just came off of a vacation and we've just had so much fun this last year and a half. And I can't wait to tell y'all more about it. But soon, and then after the break, we will have Carolyn Stewart telling us all things related to Hatchet Speed, his suppressor charge, and maybe even talk a little bit about the Oath Keepers. Be right back, y'all.
Most people think they have options when searching for the best deals when they travel. But here's the shocking truth. 100% of the major travel agencies are owned by just two entities, Expedia and Booking Holdings. They claim to offer the lowest rates, but due to the hotel rate parity agreement, they all have the same pricing, limiting genuine competition. When you book through these sites, you act as your own travel agent, but the profits are going to organizations that don't support our patriot values. We cannot allow that to continue. So, we decided to make travel great again by starting a US-based travel membership platform, mypatriottravel.com. We are patriots helping patriots. Together, we can disrupt the travel industry by not spending our hard-earned dollars supporting the radical left. For just $29.99 per month, you gain access to true wholesale rates on travel, saving you on average 35% and up to 65%. Book as often as you like, with no limits. Keep your hard-earned dollars in your pocket and spend them on things you need and want to support. Go to mypatriottravel.com/TAFW and grab your membership today. mypatriottravel.com/TAFW, making travel great again.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
I'm sure you guys remember the platinum single, Justice for All, with Donald Trump and the J6 Prison Choir. We'll get ready for round two. We're coming out with Anthem of the Free with High Res and the J6 Prison Choir. It's coming out now. It's pre-sale until December 19th when it drops. Get yours on all platforms, Google Play, Apple iTunes. Get it. It's going to be hot.
Justice for all, our voices ring. The anthem of the free.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for the sea, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. In the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This is exciting for us. We have somebody here. You see her on our screen already. We were talking about her earlier, Carolyn Stewart. She's very special to all three of us, especially. She's been a fighter for the J6 community. I mean, just selflessly fighting for these people. She is. Let's see. If I read your entire bio, I mean, we'd be here for, this whole segment would be me reading this. Your accomplishments, everything are just so major. She, gosh, she I don't know what a Juris Doctor is, but anyway, she put herself through through law school after doing, what was it, 25 years of active duty with intelligence, operations, and planning. She's a retired colonel in the Army, and I mean, just a badass, Carolyn. You're just a badass, and we're so excited to have you on our team because, like, I don't know what we would do if you were on someone else's team. There'd be a lot of people suffering right now because you've done some amazing work, and it's I've heard you on so many interviews also talking about your knowledge just is incredible. You spent time in the intelligence community. I think you should have taken over Tulsi's job myself, but you've got so much still going on. So welcome to our first episode. You're our first guest.
That's right.
Thank you.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah. So what are you doing now? We're going to get into probably lots of questions, but if you want to tell us kind of how you got into the J6 situation, I'm sure you didn't go looking for it, but somehow, you found it and you're in deep. So how did that all come about?
Yeah, thanks for that question. It was I think it was divine providence. God pointed me to meet all of you and to come help. I was working after retirement as a senior civilian in Intel, special projects, high whiz bang planning, targeting things, and I pretty much had done all that I could do. I woke up one morning and I said it was a message from God overnight, go to law school. So I went, I graduated, passed the bar. But um, I watched January 6th on television, but I had been engaged on social media because setting up my law network, I was deciding, what am I going to use social media? Twitter at that time, I'm like, that's a sewer. Facebook, I had already left that, and telling my friends, look, the government's spying on you. I was the government. I know that. So, um, but I watched it, but I had been on Parler and I saw things that I knew the FBI government was in there. I just could tell, having worked in cyber, and this is where particularly having some of that intel and ops background gave me a particular insight that many other attorneys wouldn't have, and wouldn't know what to look for in documents, but I saw it on January 6th, and then when I started researching social media in the next few days, I saw what I saw. People call it a color revolution. I call it a coup. I call it an operation, a psyop. But it was, I would call it a planned operation with many lines of operation, including military, different aspects of the government. And then, so fast forward, I was really planning after law school to just help elderly people, veterans, and particularly labor law with people in government who'd been abused by supervisors and against politicized intel and other things where, they were being forced out or being demoted, things like that. That's where I was going to, I had no intention to do criminal law. One of my buddies who was retired military ran across, you guys will know him, Paul Hodgkins. He kind of got railroaded by his attorney. He told he was guilty. He must plead guilty to the 15-12. Ridiculous. So they pointed him at me. I had to look at him as I did all my first clients and say, I have not been in a trial. I have never practiced criminal law. I studied it. I can work as hard as the next person. I'll ask every person on earth. But that's how I got into it. And that kind of also, as I went through with other J6ers, it gives you the background as why I understood the lawfare and persecution that was going on. When I looked through all the documents and the things that were in discovery or that I could find, and even from video, but from what had happened, to know that these people were generally innocent. And I know that was kind of a long-winded answer, but it brings us back to where we are today.
Yeah,
Well,
I have to say, Carol, some of the most powerful moments that I've seen in court dealing with the Jan Sixers have come with you standing up against these judges. You know, they ruled such as king and queens up there, and I don't think people that wasn't able to witness it with their own eyes and ears, how these judges treated the Jan 6 defendants. You were just such a strong voice in that courtroom. I'll never forget in Judge Walton's courtroom where you told him, I am an officer of this court and I do believe this. And he was so mad. He had to call the day. He had to leave and collect himself. You know, it was a powerful moment.
I appreciate, and you know, God bless you all for being there. I needed that support because there was evil there, and you all know it. You could sense it, whether on the back of your neck, you know, you walked in, you had to pray, and it took strength for you all to keep going there. It took strength for any of us to go in there, and it was really, the judges were just something else. You could speak law, you could speak truth. You knew you were going to go in and get it, and so did every defendant. You know, there were some who all the felony charges will go away. I'll accept a plea. You know, so many of them got bankrupted by some of these other attorneys. Then there were other ones that had federal public defenders telling them they were guilty, helping them. But I guess, you know, were a colonel, never sought to be a general. I was always just getting out, but I stayed in because I love the people and the mission. But and I finally got out because it was like I gotta go do something else. And I mean, I just was away from family for too many years. I know other people say I had 12 deployments and this and that. I count mine in terms of, you know, 5 and 6 years, you know, of the last 10 years or so that I was deployed. So that's quite a long time.
Right.
So, you know, in that and going into the courthouse, you all were so brave to go watch this. And I mean, to keep going back, God bless you.
Well, you know, it was not easy, but you do know that you are looking at evil. You do know when you're going in, you know, that you're strapping on that armor of God and you just face it. You know, one of the things, you know, that Guy had been charged with, and maybe you can answer this. I want to hop into Hatchet Speed real quick. So we do have time. Okay, so at Hatchet Speed, was he convicted of his gun charge in Virginia before his Jan 6 conviction? Carol, was he?
Yeah, so here's, we're talking about, you know, now Hatchet Speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were breaking up a little to me, but I was catching a word. So am I coming through okay still?
yeah, you're good.
All right. There was some interference. I don't know. Sometimes I get the FBI backseat driving. I'm confused. I don't know that.
This room right here, the Zoom room right here, is all about like we've got stuff scrambled, I'm sure, somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, when you sit there and the mouse on your screen, the pointer's moving and you're not touching it, you go, yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Hatchet was a single investigation. So he was charged simultaneously in the DC court with the J6 misdemeanors, and then they went after him for having, drip containers for clean solvent that were not configured. This is the strangest case to me, where the government sent in because he was buying weapons, legally buying weapons,
Right.
silencers. So Harmeet Dillon, stop giving us hand waves here about supporting the Second Amendment. You're going after people who didn't even claiming they could have broken the law in the future. I mean, we're in Minority Report here.
No, yeah, Carol, and I don't. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so real quick before we go to commercial, though, I don't think a lot of people understand they did send in a confidential informant into where Hatchet Speed worked at his workplace because he had bought weapons after January 6th, correct?
Yep.
And see, you never know. And then that's what they did. Yeah.
Yes. We'll look more into Hatchet's case when we come back from commercial. Everybody, thank you for tuning in, and we've got the amazing, wonderful, like the best ever Carol Stewart here, and we'll be right back. Thank you.
Me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic place in all the land. Hey, I'm here getting cleansed up. You know why? Because Sugar Creek Goods is a great place by patriots, making patriot soaps, making me smell nice. And that's what's nice. Who wants to go down the street and smell of somebody bad in New York City? Hey, by the way, what's this thing for?
250 years ago, a nation was born. Built on courage, driven by freedom, defined by patriots who stood their ground. Today, we don't just remember that legacy, we wear it. This is more than a shirt. It's a symbol of strength, freedom, and pride. I'm Steve Stern, COO of theflagshirt.com, and I invite you to celebrate 250 years of the United States with us. Wear your pride, stand for something, get your shirts today.
You know what is more disappointing than Gino Visconti, everyone?
My sex life?
No, bad cell service. Let's make fun of Gino. Oh wait, he's here.
Well, speaking of the opposite of his sex life, these people have towers that are huge and they're everywhere. And while you're traveling, you can use these huge towers, patriotmobile.com/it bends to the right. I don't have to tell you. TAFW. And then you can talk about me behind my back.
Patriotic people doing patriotic things.
Corporate transfer, fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
It's me, Joe the Box. And I'm John the Blanket with the America First Podcast.
That's what I'm talking about. The Fred Rubino Podcast coming to you from the America First Warehouse.
Welcome, everybody, to the James Justice Show, tearing these airwaves apart with all the craziness that goes on in the world.
Welcome to the Patriots Podcast. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the On the Right Side podcast here at the America First Warehouse in Long Island, New York.
Shane Jenkins here with another episode of Liberty's Cage.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Red, Right, and True.
We are streaming live on America First Media and Television app.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Downey Jr. podcast. Be free, stay free.
The America First Warehouse.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We've got the amazing Carolyn Stewart here, and Nicole and Tammy and myself. And this is our first episode of Freedom's Front Porch on America First Warehouse network, and we're super stoked and super excited. We've been talking about Hatchet Speed, who is a January 6th defendant. He got pardoned and all that kind of stuff, but apparently there's fruit of the poisonous tree that still remains for Hatchet and his case. And Carolyn is real active. She's she's the attorney for Hatchet Speed that's trying to get him released of these charges. So we've got a couple pictures. I'm going to show you real quick, you guys. We can. Why don't we just do a 1, 2, 3, 4 of what solvent traps, what these suppressors look like. They are in Virginia. They are legal. I mean, who knows now with Spamberger and all of the stuff that she's doing, but these are things that Hatchet had, or he may not have had these exact ones, but these are the kind of things that he had. So Carolyn, if you want to talk about that a little bit more, and why won't they let him just be free of this? I don't get it.
Yeah, well, I'm coming on, I guess, late in the game. I don't know. It's like the cab arrived, so maybe I should have worn my cab hat. I think you guys were right. I was tempted. But it is apropos because he was pardoned. They let him out, but he was convicted in Virginia, and the solvent traps were in the box, legally purchased, kept in a storage unit, and never modified in any way to put on any firearms that he legally owned, which he also had legally ordered suppressors. You know, when you shoot, and Nicole knows this, everybody knows this, you wrote about it. If you're going to shoot a lot, you want to use suppressors, save your hearing. I mean, come on. Some of us, I can tell you after how many rounds I put downrange, and I used to do a lot of sports shooting, it damages your hearing. It really does. So he did nothing wrong. This confidential informant, they send him in, he befriends him, and he's hanging out with him, and it really acts like I'm a good guy. And Hatchet does nothing illegal. And he gets caught up in this conversation where he really is entrapped, and this informant says words to the effect about, oh, but those solvent things, those could be used as a suppressor. And, you know, they're talking about kind of the Armageddon end of times, like, you know, stores are closed, nobody's selling, and nobody can get guns anymore. I mean, you know, it's again, a could be scenario in the future. And he's like, well, I guess that could be the idea. Those were his words. That could be the idea. And so he does, but he doesn't even have the tools to drill the holes. And realize, and I know you all know this, you've done the research, anything can be a suppressor. I mean, you can go out and get, you know, other kind of bottles, cans, I don't know, use a pillow, whatever.
Fuel filter, for instance.
Right. And they turn around and convicted him. Then at the appeals court, they went through this argument. I listened to the oral argument, and, well, is it a firearm? Is it an accessory? And they're back and forth. And then the opinion, I don't know where it is. So now I got to go in. You know, we're looking at doing a writ of certiorari. Well, we're going to the U.S. Supreme Court. Got to figure out if it's now a circuit split. But I'm also got to go in and correspond because his former attorneys, after January of 2025, never engaged about the pardon. Now, you know, I did Elias Kostianis. We had Dan Wilson working Ben Martin. The pardon applies. The government has said the pardon applies. Jeremy Brown. Guy, the pardon applies. Drop and dismiss the charges. everybody's so worried about arguing the Second Amendment, standing up before the appeals court. I don't need to hear myself talk in court. I'd rather, I'd rather, I don't know, persecute the government into doing the right thing. Okay. I won't say persecute. I'm going to just say, use my Bronx-born Sicilian language to get them to do
You're enticing them.
Yes,
Do the
exactly.
right thing.
I'm making them an offer they shouldn't refuse.
Uh-oh. I
Yeah.
do have a question though. All right, so but Hatchet was convicted first in Virginia of the gun charges before he was convicted of his J6 charges, or no?
Oh, try to get the sequence right. Because I believe so, because his case, he was never sentenced. No, he was sentenced. He was sentenced to both to be concurrent, no, consecutive actually.
Right. See,
Yeah.
because that, all right, so I think like, so for guys had never gone into litigation
Right.
for his charge out of Texas. So when it came up, and obviously we're in Texas also, and Ken Paxton is an advocate for homemade suppressors. Not that it's a law in Texas, but he is an advocate for that to be a law. At any rate, Guy was never convicted, so his charge was dismissed because he had never been sentenced or convicted on that. So I think maybe there's the difference, because Hatchet had already been convicted, because they did not drop the charge on Guy until after Hatchet was convicted of his gun charge in Virginia.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Well, that is actually going to be very helpful.
Well, and something for everybody to be aware of, he got these gun charges, they all got these gun charges because of the January 6th raids on their home. So that's why that they're related to January 6th. That's why it's the fruit of a poisonous tree situation. I just wanted to clarify that for everybody. It wasn't like Hatchet got arrested for that and then convicted of it and then went through the January 6th stuff. It was because of his raid on his home. They saw this, they decided it was worth prosecuting, and that's why it happened. So just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, you're correct. And yeah, the sending in the informant, the entrapment, I call it the entrapment operation. I want to call it an informant. It was deliberate entrapment. Just record something, get something, but it was and realize that what happened in the DC January 6th case is, when he didn't want to plead guilty, well, let's throw in a felony. This is how disgraceful the DOJ was. And, of course, most of those people are still employed there. So, as well as the FBI, our lawfare is not going away anytime soon. I am really disappointed, as everybody should be, that this was done in the Eastern District of Virginia under the attorney. Remember the one that came out of the White House, worked for Trump, went in, we're going to go do, Comey and Letitia James, kind of didn't work out on that. This is under the same U.S. attorney, now gone, but, these people are continuing the Biden, Garland, and I'll call it Monaco DOJ. Those prosecutions are still ongoing. Lawfare from those cases is still ongoing, and that's even under Jeanine Pirro and across these U.S. attorneys. So that's the point I bring up about the DOJ and why I think they're a failure culturally, is that nobody's doing oversight. 53 regional U.S. attorney offices. We still have this going on with Hatchet Speed. So now the Fourth Circuit did this. So, okay, you guys, this Fourth Circuit, you already said Elias Kostianis, that gun charge wouldn't apply. Why would you go in and fight this? Why would the DOJ not have on the appeal come in and said, whoa, let's vacate? I got to blame all the attorneys involved. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Otherwise, it makes absolutely no sense.
They all were asleep. They all were asleep. let's go argue Second Amendment. You didn't need to argue anything, all of them. All of them should have just said, "Wait, let's take a step back," because the oral arguments were after January 2025 pardon. Unless, I ask you guys, what do you think happened? Why are we here even with Hatchet Speed?
Everybody's all muted.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
a great
honestly,
question.
it's a Second Amendment thing, especially in Virginia. It's going to be something that has to be taken to the Supreme Court. They're going to want to infringe every aspect that they can. They don't want the suppressors. They want people to have a license for them, have a permit for them. So the arguments have to be made. I think in Virginia, they're going to have an easier time making the argument than they would have in Texas. To do that, guy was going to fight it all the way. To it, just like Hatchet. Hatchet didn't take a plea on that, correct?
And yeah, what's really interesting, this is kind of what ought to be, frying our brains on this. This is under tax code, right? This isn't under 18 US code criminal law. This is because we're taxing them. So again, with Hatchet Speed, he just bought, prior to this, a couple of suppressors, paid the $200 whatever dollar tax after paying whatever exorbitant $400, however much it cost for the suppressors that he legally purchased. I'm not sure if those were on back order or whatever, but it was all done.
Yeah.
And then turns out they're coming after him for something not even modified, but we're under the tax code. And I thought that was something Trump said, we're going to get rid of that. I thought, where's Harvey? I thought we're getting rid of this tax BS.
Yeah. Carol, we'll be right back. We got commercials, so we'll be right back.
The America First Ultra MAGA Store. For all your MAGA needs. We sell t-shirts, tumblers, flags, hats, sneakers, bumper stickers, and a whole lot more. The most patriotic, America First retail store. The America First Ultra MAGA Store.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. In the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
Hey, Paul, I was having a pillow fight with Gino's wife.
Me too.
Yeah.
She's
I
not
was
supposed
there.
to stay
I
up that
remember.
late.
I have the video. And now let me tell you, talk about soft. When I think soft pillows, I think of other than Gino's wife, mypillow.com, because these are the best pillows you're ever going to get. You can go to mypillow.com /TAFW. Go now, get your My Pillow right now.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today.
I got to tell you, a lot of my followers are asking, hey, Midnight, where are you getting all that energy from? I say, you want to know the truth? I take about 25 milligrams of Adderall a day. But that eventually ends, and then that's where Agara coffee comes in. I start drinking this stuff, and it boosts my energy. It shoots me right through to the moon. If you're not drinking Agara coffee, and you need that extra boost during the middle of the day, I'm telling you right now, get this into your system, and I promise you that it will absolutely take you to a whole nother level. Midnight, I am out. 1, 2, 3. Woo!
America First Warehouse was really the most patriotic venue that you can ever imagine. We wanted to build something for people to be able to come to and feel so comfortable and so relaxed, because there is nothing out there like it. We give an opportunity for people to really feel good about themselves and about this great country.
Hey, Patriots, welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, we still have Carol Stewart here. She's about to leave us, but she's going to give us some good info about different places where people can look and touch base on what's happening with the Oath Keepers. So tell us about it, Carol.
Yes, certainly. So we're still waiting for over a month. Judge Maida has been sitting on the DOJ's motion to dismiss. The appeals court already vacated. In the other case for the Proud Boys, Judge Kelly just issued the other day, oh, we had a trial, they're all guilty, but gosh, I have to. I mean,
Yeah.
a little bit of a rant, but I got to do it. So we're still waiting on that. I don't know what's his delay is. He really has no option. But we still have civil cases going on. And as far as the J6ers, that reparation fund is dead. If people are going to seek restitution, Federal Tort Claims Act put in some SF-95s, or a number of attorneys handling those. And then, you got to let the government and the feds take their 6 months to ignore you. Then you go in and file your suit. They'll fight you and move to dismiss, but presumably have a pretty good suit. And maybe somewhere along the way, somebody will investigate. I know you guys are continuing. I'm continuing. And we ask God's blessing as we get the evidence that shows this Fedsurrection. So thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, we appreciate it, Carol. And, that's going to lead us right into the next thing that we're going to be talking about here are the J6 suicides and the trouble that the Jan 6 community has been going through. I know it's really close to all of our hearts. Tammy and Jen, honestly, they are such warriors for the Jan 6ers as far as being very present for them. I applaud those ladies for having the patience. But what we're going to talk about, I think, to me, is that it's important to recognize that it's okay not to be okay. That it is okay that you are a Jan 6er. A lot, Carol can attest to this, even many of the judges, the prosecution, the government, they would admonish you for being associated with Jan 6ers. They didn't want any communication. They said it was a bad look. It's not a bad look. That is where your support is going to come from. Other people don't understand the trauma bond that the Jan 6 community and people have gone through, and we can support each other that way. There are Tammy and Jen have some really important websites that we're going to talk about, and they're going to talk some more about that. But for me, I did go into therapy after they took Guy in. I'm going to be, that's very honest about that. I had a very hard time coping with what was happening, the intimidation of the government, the idea of going against the government and what that meant for my family. And it was a very public case situation. And it was tough. I did go into therapy. I did a group therapy. It helped me immensely. I was able to see that other people are not okay also sometimes. Also a big issue that we really need to get real about is like the self-medicating. I personally have fought my very own demons with alcohol, and you are not in a good mental place when you're drinking. You need to get sober in order to know how bad it really is. And once you know that, then you can go forward from there. So, Tammy, Jen, I know you'll want to hop in on this. I just want to give my Jan 6 community a big hug. There are some tips though, if you don't feel comfortable calling a hotline or something, reach out to somebody that you really trust. Message them. They want to hear from you. Don't think they don't want to hear from you. because they do. Whether it's an advocate, a fellow J6er, a cellmate, any of those people, they do want to hear from you. So just know that we're going to be advocating for mental health for J6ers. That's part of also the restitution. Log what's happening to you, log your what they did to you. Make sure that people know and have those conversations and read your Bible.
Yeah, you're right, Nicole. It's really important, to be reading our Bibles and just getting back in touch with God. It's really been a hard journey these last 5.5 years, some people weren't in touch with their Bibles at all. So, they're getting to know God just through this process. And that, faith as tiny as a mustard seed has moved mountains, and it's moved mountains in the J6 community. But if you don't feel like you have somebody you can talk to, like, y'all can reach out to me. Y'all can message me anytime. I will respond to you. If we have to stay up all night on the phone and talking about life, then I'll be happy to do that for anybody. Honestly, I'm a human being, and I feel like human beings need humanity sometimes. And that's really just, if you just have a little bit of humanity, it makes things really worthwhile. But even if you don't feel comfortable reaching out to me, you can call 988 on your cell phone. You can dial 988, and that will lead you to a national suicide hotline. If you don't want to actually speak with somebody, you can text that number, and you'll be texting with a suicide hotline advocate. So if you don't feel comfortable talking to somebody that you may know, then talk to somebody you don't know, but don't keep it inside of yourself, because that's where the demons lie. That's where the devil gets you. So don't let that happen. I always say, pray for us while we pray for you. And I mean that, because I pray for all of us, even the people that I don't like, I still be praying for them too, because it's important. So I think
Okay, so Jen, tell us. I know that you have written so many articles through the Gateway Pundit. You've been such an advocate, getting help, financial help, because that's a big deal. People were wiped out. We know Jan Sixers that got out of jail with not just maybe socks, and they were jail socks. I mean, let's be real about the devastation, not only financially, but family, friends, and a lot about that.
Yeah, over these last, like, while everybody was going through this, the prison stuff and the court hearings and all of this, it was about getting financial help, right? I was talking to these families and these J6ers, and even some of the attorneys, if I couldn't get in touch with that, the attorneys were so helpful in helping us try and raise money for these families, because it devastated so many people. And now that I'm also working with Peter, and I'm hearing so many of these January 6ers stories who I didn't even know their names. I didn't know their names. And now I do, and I know their stories, and the fact that they were told by their attorneys or by their magistrates or the FBI, like, do not talk to other people. So these people were alone. Were absolutely alone, and that breaks my heart, because now they're going through stuff in the dark, essentially. So now, we're reaching out where they're starting to know that there's a community and everything like that. But there's what we had a suicide ish, like, what, 2 weeks ago, or is it been?
Nicholas Langerin, he had actually committed suicide, I think May 31st. I think we've had around 30 deaths associated with Jan 6.
Yeah.
Many suicides. you know,
Wow. They must be coming in hard. They're attacking all of us. But yes, we've had
that this too
probably,
shall pass.
yeah,
You
I'm
know?
sorry, Nicole, you broke up and
That's okay.
but yes, so you're right. We got the 30, almost 30 deaths related to January 6th. And when I say related, I'm talking miscarriages, I'm talking somebody getting sick in prison, those kinds of things. 30, 30 is a big number for 1600, and the amount of suicides percentage for 1600 people is just way outrageous and ridiculous.
It is. It is. And
So dial 988 if you're feeling it some sort of way. DM me, DM Tammy, DM Nicole if you have our numbers. DM, call us, whatever. But I want to thank Carolyn real quick before we get out of here. We got about 50 seconds left, and just want to say thank you, Carolyn, so much for coming on our first show at Freedom's Front Porch.
that's right. That's right. I love having you.
Thanks,
I
Carolyn.
hope technical issues get figured out. Maybe we will get this done. We're going to have Tina Peters on next week, you guys, so you don't want to miss that. She is an amazing patriot. So
next month.
More viewers maybe next
Don't
week.
don't be giving us more work. That's right. Ladies, I'm so glad that we got to meet on our front porch again.
Thank you. And thank you, Carol, for coming on. I really appreciate it. You're such a warrior, and we love you so much.
Okay, well, thank you. We're just getting started. I haven't even taken the calf sword off the shelf yet, so that's still mounted. We got that. Okay, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies. I love you all. Thank you guys for coming.
For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free in the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be. America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see, a symbol of hope, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free in the America.